at the bottom. It seems this bottle's my only friend. The gutter is my bed, is where I lay my head. Lord, it hurts to be on the edge at the bottom. There once was a time I thought I really had it right. Everything to make a man a good life. Then my baby up and left, took all that I had. Now here I am on the edge at the bottom. Then here I am on the edge at the bottom. Lord, I'm drunk and all alone without a friend. There's no hope left in my heart. I've got a hole in my soul. Lord, it hurts to be on the edge at the bottom. Well, Lord, I wonder if you're really up there. And do you even care about an old drunk and broken man that's sitting here? Well, Lord, I pray you will come down and get me out of here. I can't take this awful living another year. Here I am on the edge at the bottom. Lord, I'm drunk and all alone without a friend. Please restore hope to my heart. Fill this hole in my soul. Don't you know it hurts to be on the edge at the bottom? Yeah, then here I am on the edge at the bottom.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Disability Landscape. It's great to be back again, and my co-host, as usual, and who's in functioning order now, who's been laboring with a back problem, Charlie Brose. Welcome, Charlie.
Thanks, Mark. It is good to be back, and having a back problem versus the brain problem I usually have is a lot more entertaining.
Well, we're gonna test my brain to start off right here, because I'm going to introduce our guests, and this is where Charlie always likes to be entertained, but I think I got it down. Our two guests that you've already heard a couple songs from is Mike Tindell and Matt Arthur. You two, welcome to the show. And why don't you just mention a little bit about the two songs we've already heard?
Mike, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here this afternoon. My name is, as I said, Mike Tindell, and I'm going to turn it over to Matt Arthur and let him talk about the songs.
Awesome. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Matt Arthur. The first song we played, they're all original material that I've written over the years. The first song we played was On the Edge at the Bottom, the title track on my On the Edge at the Bottom album. That is available through House of Mercy Records and iTunes and Spotify, wherever you can get music. You can buy it. And so that was that. The second song we did was a song called It Was Really Worth It All, which is off of an album called Heavy on My Mind by Matt Arthur and the Bratlanders, a little older. And I think there's only vinyl around, and you got to kind of look for it.
Well, you know,
And the third song was a song that I wrote many years ago that was on an album called The Way I See It. And that was the title song, The Way I See It. It was a gospel album that I did back in 2002. And I got them some of them kicking around. You can find those.
so Matt, you mentioned maybe finding that second album vinyl. Well, record store day is coming up, so maybe they can go and hunt around for it.
Yeah. And we play around quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Mike and I have the Matt Arthur Contraption. That's my new band that we put together. Out of our 331 residency, we play at the 331 Minneapolis every Monday night.
Oh, very nice.
From 10 to 12.
Okay. Mike and Matt, I'll leave this open to both of you. How did you guys come together?
Well, it was interesting. I was sitting home one evening, and a friend of mine called me, and he said there was a blind guy who sounds like Johnny Cash playing at the Midway Saloon, and told me I should come and listen to him play. And I didn't think anything about it. I was kind of new in town. I'd been here for about a year, and playing Southern gospel music and for many years of my life professionally. And he was singing. I walked in the door, and I heard this guy singing all these songs, and I thought, well, I could play all that. And so on his break, I told him, I'm Mike, and I'm blind, and I said, if you ever need a keyboard player, let me know. Well, 2 weeks later, he calls me and said, I'm playing in Northfield on Saturday. Can you come play with me? And I said, sure. Well, when are we going to rehearse? And he said, we're not. Just come play.
We don't
All
have
right.
time.
So I did. And we've been playing together ever since.
Yeah, a little benefit down in my hometown of Ellendale, actually. That was
Okay.
and,
Well, now, Matt, when you did the second tune there, in sitting in the control room and listening to you, I seriously thought I was listening to Waylon Jennings. So,
well, some say I sound like that. I've played country music or all kinds of music my whole life. That's about all I've ever done. Fronted bands, We had a band called Pressed Asbestos back in the late 80s, early 90s, mid-90s. That was a folk rock grunge kind of like band. We put out a 7-inch record. And then I started up Matt Arthur and the Bratlanders around 2003. And we still do that once in a while. And then I've got the Contraption, the Matt Arthur Contraption that we run. So we just started that with a bunch of younger guys, some younger people. Very good, very, very good little band.
and
Now, not knowing both of your backgrounds in that, but when you guys were playing the music, had you already been playing the music before you came visually impaired, or is it from birth kind of?
I never had any vision to impair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of me, too. It was blind from birth. My grandfather, was into music all my life, and so I started playing the piano when I was 4 and singing gospel music, and did that, for many, many years.
oh my God, you're Ray Charles.
No, I don't know about that.
Kind of like me and Charlie. We were born, thrown in the incubator, and thrown in a wheelchair all at once.
Yeah. Well, I've played something, all my life, I guess. And,
Have you? Okay.
and I started playing guitar when I was in my late 20s, sort of as a means to an end.
Okay.
Is guitar the only instrument that you play then?
Well, yeah, pretty much now. I used to play accordion, but my back won't handle it anymore.
Oh, just the physicality of
So I just play the guitar.
it. Yeah. How about you, Mike? Do you play something other than the keyboard?
I do. I play keyboard and trumpet and, ironically, saxophone a bit.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah,
And then you sing also.
I do.
Yeah.
So, and Mike, I understand you're not from the Twin Cities originally. So, what brings you to the snow-covered, barren
The tundra.
April that
Well,
is Minnesota?
the quick version of the story is that, as I mentioned, playing music all my life from a child, and then when I was about 21, I got into the computer industry for the blind, and so I started teaching. My first job was doing tech support, which moved into escalation tech support for a company. If there are visually impaired people watching, you may know the computer program JAWS. I started my career at Freedom Scientific and worked there for 5 years. Then I moved to Baltimore and worked for the National Federation of the Blind for a couple years, and then I stayed there, worked for Humanware for 13 years, and then I went to HIMS, the competing company, and worked for them for a couple years. And then I, with a friend of mine, took a different adventure, and we kind of started our own thing called the Dream Vision Group, and that's what I'm doing now for work.
Okay.
And so I came from Baltimore to Minneapolis in 2019. I thought it would be a good time to change locations, and so I came to the lovely Twin Cities. And people think I'm crazy because I always say to them, I'm loving the winter. And everyone says, yeah, that's because you don't have to drive in it and you don't have to shovel snow. That's why you love winters. Well, I do. I truly love Minnesota, and I plan to call it home for the rest of my life.
So, now you came to Minnesota in 2019, and then immediately got intimately close with your new home here for the next 13 months as we were all kind of locked down.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes. That, in fact, I flew out to the CSUN conference. That's a disabilities conference that's held out every year in California. And flew out there for work, and I came back and went to Outback to have lunch one day, and the lady said, "You better hurry up and eat. We're closing in 45 minutes." And I said, "For what?"
Yeah, really.
I had no idea. She said, "Yeah, COVID." I was like, "COVID, okay."
Yeah, everything just kind of
came to a screeching halt.
Yeah, I think everything just shut down pretty quick in that.
And if I might mention, you said you worked in tech support and working with individuals with vision impaired.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I envisioning an entire room of people with blindness or other vision impairs going, "Have you turned it off and turned it back on again?"
Right, or have you plugged it in?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That is, well, now I'm doing, I started off in tech support, then quickly moved to escalations. I was the only one like in a level 2 position.
Oh, geez, okay.
And then, but since about 2007, I've been doing more training and more sales. And tech support when it's really, really difficult things that need my attention. But I really enjoy, I guess I would say a big part of my life, I really enjoy helping people. And, I feel like if we can sing songs or we can do something, to lift someone up if they're having a bad day, make someone realize that, there's something fun in music, and that's what kind of started me in music. And then the computer stuff, all of that for the last 20 years of my life has kind of been a bonus for me. Music is really the love of my life and kind of where I started. And I for all those years I was able to work every single week and travel and sing every weekend for like 48 weeks a year, and that was a lot of fun, being able to kind of do it all.
Okay.
One computer question for you, Mike, and if you can kind of describe, what kind of equipment were you supporting in that then?
At that point, back in the early days when I started, it was a lot of products that were made by Blazy Engineering, one called the Braille and Speak. Some people may know that product. And then the Braille Light, some Braille embossers. Matt's over here saying, yeah, he knows about it. That's kind of where I cut my teeth. And then we kind of moved on into, more computer things and regular Braille displays. And today we're doing Android and iPhone and Braille displays and
Nice.
Windows machines and Macs. So kind of, across the board, all Braille displays, all those things I support, train on.
And Matt, with your music history, It sounds like music has been really a big part of your life for quite a long time.
Yeah, pretty much. That's about all I've ever done for much of a living, you know. I mean, it's never been a full living, but I've always made it work and
Yeah.
did other odds and ends or whatever I could pick up, you know, once in a while. But
Right. So, I mean, the music's kind of the love of your life, but as you know, as Mike has made kind of the living with the computers, is there kind of a means to an end for you that you have to do between a 9 and 5, or what's the story there?
So what?
Do you have a regular type job?
No, I don't have a 9 to 5. A regular job. I haven't for quite a long time.
Okay.
It just never worked for me very well.
Sure.
That's me and Charlie. We like that mode too.
Yeah, no, I've always just kind of done whatever and made music most of the time.
There you go.
And
What are the I guess they would be called John. What are the types of music that you enjoy playing in that?
Well, I don't know what do we call. What do you think we call it, Mike?
That's a tough one. I mean,
I guess we're playing Stump the Musicians here. Sorry.
Right. I mean, we'll play anything from gospel to Nick Cave almost like
Yeah,
material.
pretty much.
You know, and a lot of original material.
And I'll start with Mike on that side. Do either one of you have a favorite influence for music?
Well, there's so many that I don't like to tell them all.
How about
I
you?
like guys like Woody Guthrie,
Oh, okay.
Bob Dylan.
So you kind of like the folk
that,
band
and,
a bit.
you know, the old Robert Johnson and all
Sure.
the
Oh
old
my
blues
goodness, you're
stuff.
going way back.
And old Louis Armstrong went way back to the old Dex Spider back and that jazz stuff. I like that too.
So wait, Mike, what about your influences?
well, I think for me, as a child, I remember the first CD I ever bought at a mall in Florida near the St. Augustine School for the Blind. I was there for a summer camp. And for that Christmas, I got a CD player. And the first CD that I ever bought was Ronnie Millsap's Greatest Hits.
Oh, very nice.
I know that he won't mind me saying this, but little did I ever know that Ronnie Millsap, after I became an adult, would be one of my best friends.
Very nice.
And for me,
Oh wow.
Being able to, listen to Ronnie Millsap, the way he played the piano, the way he still plays, but the way he plays the piano and the way he sings, and I never wanted to sound like Ronnie Millsap, but I certainly, he was an influence to me as a blind musician. Kind of lived the same life as I did. He was raised by grandparents as I was, and it kind of, in some ways, shaped my musical influences, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I remember back when I was a child, with a guy like Charlie Pride live in person. Albums like that, Johnny Cash,
Okay.
Folsom Prison,
Okay.
live at Folsom Prison. Man, that was some good.
So
records.
it does sound like you have a diverse background when it comes to listening to music and playing music. Then
We do, and I'll even say, it's a lot of fun to me in this part of my life, playing music with Matt. Because a lot of the songs that we do, even the originals that he writes, they're not just the same type of song. All the songs that he writes are very varied in the way they're played and the style that we do them in. And it's a lot of fun.
that's
You
very
know, really only a couple of things you got to know about songwriting. Just put as many syllables between periods as possible.
so.
Put about as many notes in there as you can on the guitar, and you pretty much got a tune.
There you go.
Well,
All right.
great.
We're gonna wrap it up here. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank again Mike Tindell and Matt Arthur. I keep wanting to say Archer
You
for
got
some
it.
reason.
No, you got
but
it.
I've got it down both times.
You're
Thank
good
you
there,
too,
Bart.
Charlie. It's nice to be back here with you doing Disability Landscape, and we'll see you later. This is Mark Knudsen.
And we're going to be playing it every Monday night, and we'll be at the Driftwood Char Bar on the 4th of May, and all kinds of places. We'll be playing all around somewhere. And look for us on Facebook and the Instagram. You'll find us.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. You know.
As I travel this highway of life, I think of all the friends I've known in my time. There are those still running, others who have said goodbye. But through it all, man, it's been quite a life. It's a real adventure down these twisted, winding roads with oh so many exits. I don't always know which way to go, but you know, you've been with me every step of the way. You've shown me kindness and mercy, even when I up and walked away. I just want to thank you for what you've done for me always, for being patient with me while I lived out my crazy days. When I should come to the end of my time, and I must look back upon this life of mine. And if someone should ask me, was it really worth it all? The pain and sorrow and the hard times I saw. Let me tell you, friend, yes, it really was worth all that trouble, even the times when I was really off the wall. All the songs I've sung and the ones that I've lost. Let me tell you, buddy, it was really worth it all. I'm just an ordinary man. I've had my share of dreams and goals, ambitions and plans. And in my life, I've walked many a hard road. I've had some people ask me, how do you do it without your sight? Well, you don't see with your eyes, friends, you see in your mind. Do you really care about your life? You gotta stand up for your rights and all that you believe in. You gotta never be afraid to be a force to reckon with always. As I was born a blind, stubborn man, I'll always be a blind, stubborn man. Right till the day they lay me in that ground. I'm not backing down, I won't be spun around. I stand for all that I believe is right, and I'll sing my song, right or wrong, till I'm gone. As I walk the streets this old town. I see all of those do-good people and the so-called trouble crowd. They're all friends of mine. Yeah, I'll talk to them all out loud. And in their time of problems, I'll take some time to listen out. Because I am a free man, I believe in God's plan. Being a friend, that's what it's all about. Folks, take a look at yourself. Ask, are you living well? Are you merely living in some kind of a disguised hell? You got one life to live. You better make the best of it while you still can.